Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. So glad you're here. Let's take care of some listener questions. Today, we get a question about how to attack 4th of July down at Walt Disney World. Should you go to the Magic Kingdom on the 4th of July, Epcot on the 4th of July? What about July 3rd? So we have that discussion. We also talk about staying cool on those summer trips that are upcoming. Of course, the announcement of June 28th being the opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And our friend Rin down in Australia has a trip, nice long trip planned, and bam, that date's right in the middle of the trip. How's that going to impact that trip? So we discussed that, and best quick service on the monorail loop from our friend Mohawk over in Scotland. This and much more coming your way on today's show. Of course, our podcast is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. Here's the best part. No additional cost to you. Great service every time. Little booking incentives with most vacations. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click really does help us out. Seriously. One extra click and boom, you're right back to the Amazon site, and they give us a little kickback on every purchase, and it really does help us out with all the costs. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. Just $5 a month goes a long way for video hosting, our audio hosting, our bandwidth, all that stuff. And to thank you for supporting us over on Patreon, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. We'd love to have you this week. Come on over, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2487 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great weekend here in May, and hope all the Disney moms had a great Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully you got, well, I mean, I don't know. It kind of used to be like you were always supposed to get flowers, I think, but then it turned into breakfast in bed, and we heard from one of our listeners on Sunday night. She did get breakfast in bed from her 4- and 7-year-old son. And let me just say, the hashtag for that whole story was best laid intentions, right? It was just like a commercial. And you'll get to hear the replay tomorrow on the feed because it was exactly like you could imagine a breakfast prepared for a mom by a 4- and 7-year-old with dad overseeing the whole operation would go in the delivery. Like an unskilled Domino's driver, I think. So it's fun. Listen to it tomorrow. But I just hope you got everything you were looking for. Probably the thing you were looking for most was spending time with your friends and family. So hopefully you got that. And today, we love you guys. We're going to have some fun hanging out here for the next 35 to 40 minutes talking Disney. Your listener questions, if you ever have one, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Joining us today, we have Ricky. She's from the mouseforless.com and a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, and she got to celebrate her second Mother's Day this past weekend. Happy belated Mother's Day, Ricky. What's going on?
Thank you. Yes, I got breakfast prepared by my wonderful husband, who did a fantastic job. There may have been a shell in the eggs. Shh, don't tell him. But I still ate them.
You just told everybody. I mean...
They were delicious, actually, even though there was a shell in them. And then, he made pancakes and bacon, and it was really good. And then we went and did the thing that I think a lot of people don't think about doing on Mother's Day. We had lunch at a Mexican restaurant, which apparently no one thinks to do.
Smart.
Yeah, it was great. There was nobody there. Everybody goes to like Cheesecake Factory or Cracker Barrel. Nope. Mexican restaurant it was for us. So it was a really good time. And then we went to the festival and had some fun there afterwards. So it was a good day for us. So it was nice. Lucy was good. She's walking around everywhere now. So she's a woman on a mission. And so following after her is now my mission in life.
That's it. It never stops. And then you just...
Nope, it sure doesn't.
Then they turn 16, you just follow them up. Buy my friends and just wonder where in the county they are.
That's right.
In their car when they're not working. All right. Also joining us, we have freshly returned from Disneyland Resort. A lot of training out there with the agents with the Magic for Less Travel. The co-owner of the agency, Pam Forrester. Pam, hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend as well.
I did. Yeah, we had a good time. And, of course, you know what I think the perfect gift is for every holiday, and that's some kind of travel. So, anyways.
I mean, do you have any planned or any coming up or any in the past? You never travel, right? I mean, that's
Never.
few and far between.
Never. Yeah. I have a few things coming up the rest of the summer. So, including a little, wait, let me see.
Uh-oh. She's going back where the Super Bowl trophies are. What's this?
Yeah, right. Oh, stop! No, no,
Yeah,
no.
we talked
Jealous.
we talked to a guest on the call-in show Sunday night. She's heading to Lookout Key, and I said, you know what, Pam Forrester will give us the 411 because she'll be one of the first on the island, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes. So doing that later in June.
Stop.
Also getting to see the Utopia, Royal Caribbean's new ship that's going to be
Nice.
sailing this summer. Have a few things in World. Going to do a preview of Tiana's. So looking forward to that. This summer's packed full of fun stuff. But there's so many good things happening right now. It's hard, as a Disney fan, it's hard to choose, what you want to go and see and do. So,
Which we're going to be talking about all the happenings at Disneyland on Friday. So stand by for that. We had a last minute. We're going to make a swerve. If you see the title, fake out. It's not going to be that title for Friday's show. We're going to talk about all the fun things happening at Disneyland for our friends headed out there this summer. But today, listener questions. Oh, real quick, Pam, I want to tell you. Great job with those Northern Lights, those Aurora Borealis photos.
Oh my
from
gosh,
Pennsylvania.
right?
Oh my gosh, you smoked it with those things.
so this has been on my bucket list for a while. It's so funny. Within the last few weeks, I had said to Steve, there's a river cruise that is specifically for the Northern Lights. I would really like to go. So when we saw people in our community start posting, I was like, let's go. We're in the car. We can see them from our house, but there's a state park that's not too far from us. So we drove there knowing that the lights would be less, the ambient light, things like that. And there were just some it was incredible, really just incredible. Refractory, my friends.
So now you don't have to go on the cruise. I mean, you can still go on the cruise.
Yeah. I saw the purple ones. I didn't see the green ones.
This is bad.
Okay,
this is bad for the travel
it.
industry. We got to keep those things where you have to travel to.
Right.
We can't have these Aurora Borealis coming to everybody. The common man can't get to these things. Come on now. You can't have these things hitting Missouri. Yeah. They were in Florida. People were posting pictures in Alabama. That was crazy.
I know. Incredible. So yeah, love it.
Anyway, yeah, I was stuck in basically a VFW hall playing trivia that while everybody was posting all these pictures on social media, and I was dying because it was so light in the parking lot I couldn't see them. And I'm in the last two rounds were Friends and Marvel, two things I know absolutely nothing about. I was just seething. I'm like, you're posting these amazing pictures, Scott. Everybody, people like you in Alabama. I'm like, I'm in Missouri. I'm way north of them. I want to go see them, and I missed out. Anyway, let's get to the questions. First one is, let's go right here to the chat. Deanna, she's always in here on Facebook with us. My reservation day is this Wednesday. My biggest reservation I'm trying to get is Wild Africa Trek at the earliest time to avoid 3 hours of afternoon heat in July. That doesn't sound bad. I mean, not really. If I can only get an 11 or 12 start time, would you still do it, or would it be too miserable to enjoy? This is an opinion question, ladies. Pam Forrester, would you do that? would you accept this reservation?
You know what? Yeah. I would do it, but I would leave my options open until we got closer to the time and look at the weather, really, to see what the projected weather for that day was going to be. Just because I've been there in July and it's been miserable, and I've been there in July and I'm like, this is pretty much what it's like at home.
That's a good point.
I think that sort of gives you the flexibility, but I would lock in whatever you can get. And then that just gives you some additional time to think about it too. I like having options. I always like having options. So It's a great tour. Everyone I know that has done it has really enjoyed it. So I think that always factors into it as well, right?
Yeah, I agree, Ricky. I would do. That's what I would do because I mean, every once in a while you do catch a nice day. In July, I mean, July is typically. I mean, August, September. I mean, you can catch a super hot day in November. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah. No, you never know. So I would book whatever time, I mean, it is available and go with it. And yeah, I mean, I play it a little more by ear, I guess, as you get closer. If the forecast just looks unbearable, I mean, I think you can cancel, right? So I would book it. I would hope that you get the earlier time though, but you never know. So I would still book it because if it's on your bucket list, which it sounds like it probably is. I and it's on mine for sure. So if I could get it and that was the only time that was available, yeah, I'd go for it.
She says she's also trying to get a Grand Floridian Cabana day, so maybe that balances it all out.
Ooh.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the yin and the yang of it, right? If you're hot, then you just get to chill. Yes.
Right. You have a whole day of it.
Winter,
Yes.
as we say around here, but you probably shouldn't say during the Wild Africa trek, winter, chicken dinner. But the chickens would not appreciate that, even though I don't think there's chickens on the trek.
No chickens.
I don't know. I don't know. Len, my good friend out in Maryland, before I say anything dumb. We are 3 weeks out from our trip to Disneyland. Our arrival day is a non-park day. Is there any good place outside the parks to get a peek at any of the nighttime shows? We're staying at Disneyland Hotel Villas. Maybe we will get a great view. So they're staying at the villas. Could they, if they're up high, I mean, they might see something. Well, now, can you see inside? No, you probably can't see. I do have a place. I do have a place. If you want to walk across the street where I stayed for the. There's a bar on top of the Grand Legacy. It's a hotel.
There is
stayed
in the Westin.
Yeah,
The
it's
Westin
got a
has
fireworks
great
view. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
the
go up
Westin
there,
has a
but it
great
does.
bar.
Yeah, so you could do that. It's called the Grand
You can
Legacy.
see World of
Park.
Color from the Westin. You can also see there are some lookout points over at the Grand Californian and at the new Pixar place. There are some. You can also just stand in the Esplanade if it's a fireworks night. You can sometimes see, and hear some stuff there. But yeah, I'd check out if it's just a World of Color night, then look at the Westin or like what Mike had said, or at the Grand Californian. There's some overlook spots there where you can see it.
The Grand Legacy place looked it was a little hip. I felt kind of old staying there. Like as far as just like the club, like not the hotel part. Like the hotel part was just like a motel kind of. Like the rooms were just like it was like motel. But the night I was like there, like checking in my luggage and stuff, they must have been having some kind of. Everybody was like, it reminded me of that skit on Saturday Night Live in the '90s where everybody did their heads like this.
Yes.
And I knew I was in California, right? Like do do do
Yes.
do do the Hadaway song, "What Is Love?" Like I felt like everybody's going up looking all slick. I'm like, dude, I am not in my element at this point. I didn't go up to the club because I'm like, they'd be like, that cat's from Missouri, get him out of here, bounce him. So I didn't want to get bounced. Anyway, but I mean, they say in the brochure everywhere, fireworks views in the bar at the top. Anyway, Hannah's here on Facebook. Have you heard any talks about expanding the Skyliner? We just got back from Disney World 2 weeks ago, and it was literally my 6 and 7-year-old's favorite feature. I love your kids. They're so smart. It's a great ride. It's basically like Sky Buckets, but they're better. Honestly, mine too. I could ride this all day. Thanks for all you do. Ricky, you always have your ear
Yes, I do.
to the grindstone.
Yeah. As of right now, nothing. Which is unfortunate because the Skyliner is so great. I know that before COVID happened, there were talks about expanding the Skyliner. But yeah, they pretty much everybody that was involved with the Skyliner, I don't think is an Imagineer anymore, or at least most of them probably aren't, and they're on other projects now if they were. So I don't think they're going to be expanding it anytime soon, which is unfortunate because it is a really great mode of transportation.
It is. It's super cool. Okay, let's do we're not going to make this a 20-minute discussion, 2-minute discussion. If it were to expand, and we're talking like legitimately, like think about all the variables, not where you want it to expand, but legitimately, where do you think where does it make sense the most? If Disney were to expand this, where do you think it would make the most sense for them to do it? Likely, Ricky, go first. Where do you think it would go?
I would think the necessary place it would be Disney's Animal Kingdom. I don't know logistically how hard that would be, but realistically that would be the best option, I think, because there's only bus transportation to get to that resort. And I think by having a secondary option, that would help open things up a lot more for Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Totally makes sense. I like that logic. Pam Forster, what do you think?
I think Coronado is actually where it would go. It's really close there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And Coronado really has so many amenities that the other moderates don't have. It's sort of in a class by itself, and I think this would sort of separate it even more. I think though the one thing that Disney does really well, and I thought about this a lot when I was at Disneyland, is that they make certain locations have things that are specific to them. And I think that there are certain resorts that have the Skyliner and certain resorts that don't. Certain resorts have the monorail and certain ones that don't. So I think that also plays into it as well, that's just part of it. That's part of what Disney wants to do. And they're always looking to give you something to sort of come back and experience next time. So I'm sure that plays into it a little bit as well.
I agree. That's a good point. But I mean, if Coronado had it, I've always said this, like that immediately makes it a deluxe resort because that's the thing. I mean, everybody loves Coronado, but everybody says, I love Coronado, but it's always the comma, but I wish it had the Skyliner. And if you had the Skyliner and all those amenities over there, it'd be a nut house. Like every person.
For sure.
Would be
yeah.
crazy.
You'd never be able to stay at Coronado.
But the thing is, the bus service is not bad. Some people are hung up, and this is just me talking because we're all friends here, right? That's why I love our podcast audience. But I mean, some people get hung up on this 4-stop resort thing, like Caribbean Beach, Coronado. It's really not that big a deal. It might be 5 minutes each time. And sometimes you're the first stop, sometimes you're the last stop. But a lot of times you're just tired, and it's okay to sit down an extra 5 minutes on a vacation of a week, here and there and everywhere. It's and if you're really in a hurry, you can walk to a different stop if you need to, like if the situation arises. I mean, I get it. French Quarter is advantageous in that it's got one stop. You know exactly where it's going to, you don't have to deal with that. But I would never personally, and again, everybody's got their own, decisions to make. But like, I never think that like when I'm staying at Coronado, Riverside, Caribbean Beach, anything like that, that it's a nuisance to have 4 stops. I never think of that.
No, I don't either. It's just one of those things. There's lots of resorts that do. Saratoga, Old Key West, those kind of resorts do as well. So it's something just to keep in mind, be aware of, but it doesn't ever prevent me from going to those resorts.
All right. Jessica LD is tuned in over on YouTube. Thanks for being there. Hey, crew, we just booked a trip at the end of August for my husband's birthday. 4 nights at French Quarter with 3-day, 3-park, no Magic Kingdom ticket, and are super excited to check out food and wine on his birthday. My question is, we have only ever traveled to Walt Disney World and Florida in the winter or spring break. What are your best tips for late summer travel and keeping cool? Okay, so Pam Forster, yours as always. I'm going to kind of steal yours, so you got to be a little creative because you haven't been here for a while, so I'm going to make you work.
Okay.
You need to make sure that you have going in every day in ADR for dinner or for lunch. Either one of those hotter times of the day where you're getting in, sitting down, air conditioning, good nourishment, good meal, something you're going to really enjoy, but make it something exciting. I'm going to make it a character meal, make it an environment like San Angel Inn where you're going in from a hot August day in Epcot, and all of a sudden you're in the night and it's romantic, and you're like, you're dining next to a pyramid at 5 o'clock. It's still blazing hot outside in World Showcase. Everybody's struggling around with their, spilling their margaritas on the promenade, but you're just chilling in there like it's a 65-degree dark night in, I don't know, Cozumel. So do stuff like that. Beer garden's a great example of that. You're in a little town, all of a sudden it's beautiful. It's air conditioned. So the ADRs, I think, are key. So Pam, since I stole from you, I'll let you go next because I totally took yours.
Stole my answer, and I have to think of another one.
That's what happens when you've done 2,500 shows, man. It is hard to come up with answers you've been doing since 2008.
No. So my best piece of advice for when you're traveling, anytime it's hot, and like we had mentioned before, I've been there in November when I have just been like, what is going on? Why is it so hot? So it does happen at different times of the year, but don't let yourself get too hot. I think that's the thing. We all sort of reach a threshold, and then once you reach that point, you're done.
Mhm.
So the ways to sort of get around that is sort of intersperse, like if you're outside for a long period of time, then do something indoor, do a show, something that really allows you to cool down for a period of time, whether that's a meal, a show, an attraction with a queue that's mostly indoors. And there are so many that really are indoors, like Pirates comes to mind. You can
Yep.
spend your
Even the
just
queue's
about your-
nice. I mean, the queue is comfortable.
yeah. I'm like 30-minute wait.
Okay.
Sure. In air conditioning. Yes. Please.
Well, I
let
mean,
me
because
just-
you take that as opposed to like Jungle Cruise next door, dude. That is that's a sweat box, right? I mean, oh man, that's a
Exactly.
long
Whoa.
30-minute wait in
Woo.
August. Yeah.
True. The Tiki Birds looks good anytime
Yes.
it's hot. I mean, I'm like, yes, I get the Tiki Birds and that. So yeah, it's really good. But just sort of try to break up your day with that. And of course, you got to schedule some pool time. I mean, enjoy your Disney resort pool. They all have some charming elements to them, whether you're staying at a value resort or a deluxe resort. Of course, those staying at a moderate and above are going to have a pool slide, so you'll be able to take advantage of that. But just, take advantage of the pool. There's just so much to see and do there.
And shout out real quick, French Quarter. Just recording on Monday. Pool's back open. There you go.
Hey, that's
Open.
good.
Still need more rain for the Sasagula boats, but we're halfway there, folks.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. We're almost there.
We're
Just
almost there.
Little synergy. Ricky, give your tip before I
When
do
is it
anything
gonna
else.
open? I don't know. Okay, no.
June 28th.
Breaking 28th.
news. Go ahead.
Came out twice. Whoopsies.
Hang on.
Anyway,
It's going to open on June 28th.
somebody's getting fired.
Had to break out the
yeah.
big voice for that announcement. Go ahead.
That's good. Yeah. So I'm gonna say, since you guys took all the good ones, I'm gonna say make sure you have water. There are places that you can go a lot of times at quick service restaurants where they will have just a jug of water and cups that you can fill up, which is very nice that they do that a lot of times. You can do, I know a lot of people like cooling towels. I'm not the biggest on those, but I know they work out really well. I always have a portable fan. I have one for the stroller too, which is great for a Lucy. And portable, like I have one that's one that I wear around my neck, which works out really well, except for when I accidentally put it upside down and don't realize that I'm like, why am I not getting any air? Oh, duh, dummy, it's upside down. So just a heads up, there is a right way and a wrong way for those. I would also say to make sure that we always have an umbrella with us. And the reason why is, yes, for the rainstorms, but also for the sun. Seriously, just having a little bit of shade on you, even if you think you look like an idiot carrying an umbrella in the middle of summer and it's not raining, do it. I promise you, I'd rather look like the idiot carrying the umbrella because my butt is happy in the somewhat shade. So
For real.
I'm so much happier just having a little bit of sun off of my body, and that's good too. So I think taking breaks and going anywhere where there's air conditioning, the Odyssey, a lot of times when that's open, I'll oftentimes spend a good quality amount of time in there. They also have a lot of spaces that I think will probably be opening with the whole new area at Epcot, like where the characters are going to be and stuff like that. Obviously I haven't seen that yet, but I suspect there might be some cool areas to chill there. The outside part, maybe not, even though they have some really great benches and they have some really great seating areas outside. Maybe not sitting there in the middle of summer would be a great idea, but I think that they're definitely trying at Epcot to kind of keep the cooling areas, because they had a couple of good ones before with interventions, and then they took it all down.
It's coming.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right. So our next question is from Rin. Hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. I'll be visiting the world for a week in late June, and Tiana's will be opening smack bang in the middle.
Hey! Ding.
June 28th.
That's hard.
There
I
we
had,
go.
I had to switch panels.
I
Have
got
you
you.
experienced an event like that? And do you have any tips on how to zig when everybody else zags? So we have a question about zigging when everybody else zags, because
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it. All of a sudden, perfectly laid plans. And then wham! Somebody throws a screwball at you with like opening a major attraction right in the middle of your vacation. So here we go. A big thank you for answering my question about the rocket launch a few weeks ago. I'm waiting to see what time the launch is scheduled. Really appreciated Mike's advice on the Polynesian beach. I also love Scott's enthusiastic answer to the would you rather of Genie Plus versus after hour events. After hour tickets have been acquired. So Scotty G, you win. I realized I didn't introduce myself last time. I'm a listener from Australia. I've heard about half a dozen other Aussies on the show over the past 6 months, and I'm another one. I'm from the city of Adelaide, hometown of astronaut Andy Thomas, who flew in the 90s. Thanks so much, Rin. And Rin, I have a hat, which I'll have to bust out here for the show maybe next week from another one of our great listeners. And it's oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the name, but I wore it all at Walt Disney World last summer. He gave it to me and I wore it all over. It's red and they're, oh my gosh, I'll wear it next week. It's awesome. It's in my bedroom. So it's coming next week. All right. Anyway, question about zigging when a new attraction opens, because this will impact things.
Yeah.
But it won't, I don't know if it'll impact the entire park as much as people are we're in the freakouts. Like, with there's just like this hype cycle theory, right? Because it comes out with like new technology. Like I listen to a lot of like Apple podcasts and technology stuff, and there's a hype cycle, right? And immediately when something gets announced, hockey stick. And then a week later, like reality starts, like you get out of the reality distortion field, which like Apple has, and like they used to say Steve Jobs had on people, where he could just lead you right down the path. I think we're kind of in that right now. I think after about a week, we're going to kind of temper the excitement. I think we're still going to be excited. Don't get me wrong. But I think right now everybody thinks like that the line of cars is going to be out to I-4 to ride Tiana's. It's an attraction. Everybody's excited to ride it, but it's going to be there for 20, 30 years. Like if you don't ride it on June 28th, you'll have the opportunity on the 29th, the 30th. You'll have the opportunity in the fall. I don't know. So, Ricky, what would you do if this happened in the middle of your vacation?
I mean, obviously, I've been to Walt Disney World on grand opening days of many things, many new lands like Pandora, as well as new attractions. It is an interesting day. I will admit, it will be a busy day for the Magic Kingdom partially because of what Mike says. Everybody will be there for that attraction. They're all going to go to that attraction. So literally anything else you want to do in that park is probably going to be open game. Unless there's a big caveat that we don't know yet. And I suspect it's probably going to go that way, which makes me very sad. We don't know if there will be a virtual queue. I suspect very strongly that there will be a virtual queue for Tiana's. I hate it because we didn't have one for Splash Mountain before. And it's going to make it so much harder for me to get on the attraction because I just am absolutely terrible at making my own reservations for virtual queues because I don't want to get up at 7:00 in the morning. But with that being said, if they're not going
to have a standby line that's super long. They're not going to do that.
I agree, which is why I think they're going to do virtual queues.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know. I hate it, but I think that's what they're going to do. Now, I hope they don't have it for forever. I hope it's maybe just for a couple weeks or whatever, but I have a strong feeling it's going to be like Tron and last forever. So,
did they not have a virtual queue for the Moana attraction at Epcot?
They did. Yes,
so they're going to have one for Tiana's.
So
Come on now. They had it for Moana's water adventure. They're going to have this for
They're going to have a virtual queue.
Come on now.
So that's going to impact things as well. If you want to get on the attraction, make sure you're at the virtual queue at 6:59 and trying to get that virtual queue, because I can guarantee you're right, Mike. I mean, yeah, they had a virtual queue for Moana, so I can guarantee it's going to happen for this. With that being said, there won't be huge lines probably then, because anybody that will actually be able to get on the ride will have already gotten their virtual queue taken care of that morning. So just go enjoy the park. And I mean, you're going to see a lot of bloggers, media people who are trying to get that, perfect shot of the attraction if they're not going to be on it. So just a heads up, you're probably going to be on somebody's video. But other than that, I mean, it's going to be a fine day. You're going to be fine. The virtual queue is going to pretty much take care of everything that you're worried about, I think. So
Pam, you've been there many times when this stuff happens. I mean, what have you observed, and what advice would you give her? And especially somebody coming all the way from Australia, the other side of the world, trying to make the most of it.
I think if you can visit on the second day it's open instead of the first, or any subsequent day after that, then you're probably better off. You're probably your chances will increase and you might get a better time, I think, to enjoy it. I think the other thing, I mean, I hate to even say, but let's just say the worst happens and you aren't able to experience it on this trip. It will be okay. And I think that that's always really hard to advise people on because that's not what any of us want to think about. But it just is the reality of it. Sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes it's busier than Disney thought. It's busier than we thought it would be. So it's something to keep in mind. Hopefully that will keep people off of some of the other attractions.
Yep.
That are open that day.
You might be able to get on Tron that day. Who knows?
And the other thing to think about too is when an attraction opens 9 times out of 10, there's also some merchandise that goes along with it.
Yes.
And those lines can be long as well. So just all things to keep in mind. But if you have the opportunity to enjoy it, go and do it. But I honestly would not make it my main goal of the trip in any way, shape, or form.
Don't let it ruin your trip. Like don't let it
Yeah.
change the mood of
Exactly
don't let it change the mood of your trip. Like just look at it as a bonus and you be optimistic and excited. Don't,
Yes.
there's definitely, reasons for excitement. Absolutely. But there's so much other fun stuff. I mean, because it hasn't been there for the last 2 years and people have been having amazing vacations. Listen to our show, listen to the trip reports. People are having amazing vacations and it's not been there. And it still happens every single day.
I just hope.
It does.
I mean, all those people said I'm never riding it because it's not Splash Mountain again. So I hope I can get on it then.
We shall see. Okay, we got a question from
see.
Mohawk _Scotland, who, by the way, is the star. One of the many. We have so many stars of the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse, which you can join us 24/7. We talk Disney and we talk all kinds of other stuff. Today we're talking NBA draft. We're talking about my foot in the clubhouse. It's a long story. Not going to share it here on the podcast. You do not want to know. But we're talking about life. We're talking about Mother's Day. We're at all Disney topics, cruise. We talk about international Disney parks more than I know anything about because we have so many people from all around the world over there. Join us, beourguestpodcast.com/Discord. But he says, 523 days out from our next Walt Disney World vacation. What would be your recommendation on the best quick service on the monorail loop to escape the crowds of the Magic Kingdom for lunch and to recharge our resort mugs? So they're okay. Mohawk _Scotland is a mug carrier, is what I call. He keeps the mug handy at all times in case he cruises through a resort, which I like.
Nice. Good
He
for
has
him.
he has onboard muggage. I love you.
like
I
that.
love you, Mohawk. You're awesome. No, so
funny.
trying to think my best quick service on the
I've got it.
I'm thinking because I'm hungry. That's the problem. I can't think clearly, but I'm hungry. Okay, Ricky, go then. I'll think a little more.
Oh, 100%.
I know you're gonna say Captain Cook's.
Captain
I know.
Cook's.
I knew you were gonna
Yeah.
say it. I know you too well.
Yeah, I mean, nachos.
Chose.
Pulled pork nachos. They're so good. It's my go-to. I dream about these nachos. I'm telling you, they're so yummy. Go get the nachos.
That is pretty good. I mean, okay, so what our options are, you got Captain Cook's, you got Gasparilla's, you got Contempo Cafe. You got
Yes.
now.
But
he said
I'm going to
monorail.
suggest
He said
two other
He
ones.
said monorail, but you catch a boat to Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, that's
that
what I was
counts.
going to say.
That counts.
I would take the boat too. That gives you more options. You have Roaring Fork. You also have Geyser Point.
Yep.
And then you also have Trails End if you take the
Yep.
boat. And so I will say at Geyser Point, we eat there all the time. And there are so many great things to choose from there that I would go there anytime. I think the wings are great. I think the charcuterie is good. There's a charcuterie flatbread. The bison cheeseburger's a winner. The fried chicken sandwich is great. But also on my list, this multi-grain salad, you can get it either with chicken, or salmon. And I think you used to be able to get it with steak. I think you still can, or tofu. I think it's a sleeper hit. I think it's really good. They also have a steak sandwich that's great. I mean, like these are just the things that I'm pulling from my little memory here because we eat there so often. I also think the Roaring Fork is sort of a sleeper hit.
I do like Roaring Fork, and we
Fork is very good.
we never talk about that place. It's like it's
I know.
so hidden
They've
because
had
Geyser
that
Point takes it over. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They've had that wilderness salad since almost as long as they've opened, and it's really just sort of a simple salad, but it's so good. It has chicken and walnuts and apples and cheese on it. That's like always a winner. They have all different kinds. They have, cheeseburgers, they have meatloaf, they have burnt ends. I mean, all of these are good things. So hopefully you can find there. But I would not sleep on the taking the boat. It's just as enjoyable as the monorail, if not more so. And it's just as easy to get you there. Plus, you get to see a couple other resorts, and I love that. Even on a hot day, I feel like if you go to the Wilderness Lodge, it's a little cooler.
Yes, because the
Right?
fir trees and stuff. And I'll tell you what, I've gone there in the middle of summer and just like, I'll be honest, like I've gone up like to the 5th floor, found that like just those little, they have like little mini lobbies up there with chairs.
Yes.
And dude, I've taken a nap. I got woken
Take a
up.
nap
I
in
got
a
woken.
chair.
I got woken up one time by a housekeeper who was trying to move my legs because they were vacuuming. I was like, sorry, I fell asleep. I was like, I fell asleep 5 minutes ago. It was probably like an hour ago. I was so tired because the Magic Kingdom wore me out that morning. It was like 100 degrees in July.
Right?
But I did exactly this, Roaring Fork. I went down and had lunch, and I was like,
same.
God, I just got to stay in the air for a few more minutes, man. I am so hot before I go back because I didn't want to go all the way back to pot. I think I stayed like at an All-Star that day, so I was like, I don't want to go all the way back. Like, I'm just gonna catch some AC here. Just that chair just like swallowed me. It was so comfortable, and like they're playing that background loop that I love. Like Dances with Wolves was playing or something. I'm like, Tatanka. I'm just like, dude, I'm in. Just wild.
Right?
So, but a couple things though. If he goes to Geyser Point, I'll know if he can recharge his refillable mugs, and I could do that at Roaring Fork.
You can
So
stop at Roaring Fork and get a drink.
that
and
works.
then go
Roaring
over.
Fork.
And by the way,
Actually, I think there. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think there is a refillable mug station.
But they have not always been open. The quick service location has been sporadic. So
Never mind.
Real quick, if you're in the clubhouse, if you know. This shout out to Megan's dog, because every time I ring the bell on the show when she listens, it makes her dog go crazy. So there's been like 8 bells on the show.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. I'm evil that way. Never tell me stuff like that. Just letting you know. Okay, back over to the inbox. We have a question from Bree, who is basically a local after all these questions. Scotland, Australia. Now we're talking Springfield, Illinois. Hey, Mike and BOGP crew. I just booked a spur-of-the-moment girls trip with my mom and 7-year-old daughter as a Mother's Day gift / 60th birthday celebration for my mom. We'll be going over the 4th of July holiday, and I'm trying to decide between spending the holiday in the Magic Kingdom or Epcot. Looking at the crowd predictions online, it looks like Epcot is predicted to be busier on July 4th than the Magic Kingdom. I've never been on the day of the holiday, but this is the opposite of what I expected. Does this seem to hold true in your guys' past experience? Are the July 4th fireworks at the Magic Kingdom worth seeing over Happily Ever After? Any can't miss experiences for the holiday at either park that you'd recommend? Thanks so much for all you guys do. I love listening to your shows. For a sprinkling of Disney magic during my week, Bree in Springfield. By the way, Abraham Lincoln, land of Lincoln. Just saying up there. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little town, actually. It's a really nice little town. It's the closest Portillo's to where I live, which is a huge thing. Chicago dog. Drag it through the garden. So good. Anyway. So back to what'd she say?
She wants to know about 4th of July.
nothing more American than a Portillo's Chicago dog dragged through the garden. But go ahead, Epcot or MK? What do you do?
Well, okay. So I think the reason why Epcot is listed as going to be the busier park is because what a lot of people do, and it's kind of what I was going to suggest, would be they actually do the Magic Kingdom fireworks on the 3rd and the 4th. So a lot of people go to the Magic Kingdom on the 3rd, and then they go to Epcot on the 4th, which is, I think, the right way to do it. But again, it's probably going to be a little busier those 2 days because everybody tends to do it that way. I still think a lot of people who are not in the know, and that's a majority of people who visit the Magic Kingdom, are looking to go to the Magic Kingdom on the 4th of July. So I still would suggest this plan, just because I think that the Magic Kingdom is what people think of for holidays, so that people automatically head to the Magic Kingdom to see the fireworks. I think that they do a special tag on, so they're going to do Luminous at Epcot, and then usually they do a special tag. This is the first year that they've done Luminous, I think, for the 4th of July. But they've always done a special fireworks tag for the 4th. Whether it was Illuminations or Epcot Forever or whatever, they've always done a special tag. And it's a really amazing tag, to be perfectly honest. Like, it just, you feel it on the ground. I mean, it just blows everything away. So I'm always a fan of Epcot for 4th of July and New Year's Eve, actually. And I'm going to suggest that you probably should do that way. So go to Magic Kingdom on the 3rd. Go to, and usually Disney doesn't like announce any of this until seriously like maybe a week or two before the holiday. They're really bad about announcing 4th of July for some reason, and kind of New Year's Eve actually. So don't ever fret of, oh no, it doesn't look like they're going to do fireworks at, you know, the Magic Kingdom on the 3rd. They will. They just are really slow at announcing it.
And that's exactly how we've always done it. We've always, at Magic Kingdom, July 3rd, saw the patriotic show. July 4th, Epcot, ground shakes. You're like, oh my gosh, I can feel it in my chest. I say that every time. It's incredible, and it's patriotic in both places. But I wouldn't say one, Happily Ever After or the 4th of July fireworks, I wouldn't say one's better than the other. One just gives you more of a burst of patriotism. It's those like, John Philip Sousa marches and stuff. You know, it's like everybody just wants to be do, 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 down Main Street while they're going. You know, it's, you just want to cry at Happily Ever After when you got daughters that are growing up way too fast. Pam, real quick, any advice as we wrap this up and wrap the show up for today?
I think, too, the thing to keep in mind is even if Epcot is technically busier because there's more people in there, it will never feel as busy as the
True.
Magic Kingdom. There's so much more area, people spread out a lot more, and you can also see the show at all different locations. As long as you can see the lake, you're pretty much set. And I think that's something to really think about, because at the Magic Kingdom you get the best view from that one location, right? It's that area in front of the castle and back down Main Street, even to include that. That's not a very large area, and you feel it when all those folks are standing there with you. So
Disney Anarchy.
Yeah, it's craziness. So think about that too.
All right. Have a good time down there on the 4th of July. We've gone many, many years 4th of July. Last year on the 4th of July, we were all on the Disney Wish, and that was kind of fun, doing the 4th of July at sea with a live band playing patriotic tunes for some fireworks. That's crazy. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, we are going to get out of here for this week. If you have a question, the inbox, Mike at brguestpodcast.com, will answer that for you next week. Or you can join us on Mondays, usually around 5:30 Eastern or so. We hit the button and go live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Instagram as well, which you can do over on YouTube. Just subscribe to the channel. I never talk about this, but it's youtube.com/brguestpodcast. All of these shows are there in video form, so you can check those out and you can subscribe. And every time we go live, you'll get the notification and you can just boom. Hey, guess what? We're sitting there. And the first 10 minutes are always us talking about stupid stuff that is not related to the podcast. You get bonus content about how my right foot's killing me. What did we talk about at the beginning? We talked about the Masked Singer. So you missed all that good stuff if you don't listen to the video. It's there on the video, so go watch, check it out. Anyway, we are sponsored, as always, by the Magic for Less Travel. We want to get you to all these destinations. You want to cruise on one of these great cruise ships? They're amazing. Have I told you? 53 days from today, going on the Disney Fantasy. Can't wait to tell you all about it. Oh, Gills, calling my name. Small. I'm going to sprinkle everybody with a Disney Fantasy fact until my cruise every week. Here's a Disney Fantasy fact for you. Did you know in O'Gill's Irish Pub, not that I'm looking forward to this, on the Disney Fantasy, you can order wings. Now, they're not included in your cruise fare. You got to pay a little bit extra. But while you're chilling in there watching sports, because it's a sports bar on this ship, it's the equivalent of 687 on the Dream. They have like a little menu. It's also the equivalent on the Wish. What it was called, Keg and Compass. Is that what it was called, the sports bar? But like they have pretty good like little apps sitting on they got a little table menu, and there's like onion rings and wings. It's all that bar food. Oh, I'm looking forward to bar food. Rock on. So there you go. That's your tip for today. Zippity-doo-dah. Tip for today. Remember that old thing on the TV?
Yes,
I missed that. That was the best era, I think, of resort TV.
Yeah, it was so good.
God. Remember, Disney transportation is complimentary from all Walt Disney World resorts.
Right?
And it starts running 90 minutes before park opening. Have a zip Oh, that was the day. Anyway, I listen to that all the time. Magical Bus Radio. Too much.
So
Okay,
good.
so we're going to help you get to those destinations, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, even Adventures by Disney to see the world. And the best part, no cost to you. You're going to get great service every time. We love your support. Come on over to themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. One click supports the show each and every purchase, so please do that as often as you can. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all this possible. The video hosting, the audio hosting, the bandwidth, all that stuff. It adds up, and you guys really help offset those costs. $5 a month is all it takes, and you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. And this week we talked about, it was Mother's Day, but we talked about the other mothers that give us advice and help us down the road sometimes that we don't always recognize. So I talked about one of those people in my life on the shows. It wasn't serious. You know, it's Mike. It's never serious, but I did tell some stories on that show. So come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Social media for all of us, Ricky Nibs, RAKKINIBS for Ricky. Pam is at TMFLT Pam. I'm at BRGuestMike, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. Also, the Clubhouse. That's where you need to be. We got to see you. We got tons of listeners over there from all over the world. BRGuestPodcast.com/Discord. Get there now so we can talk all the time. And Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, it's the BOGP open line. You give us a call, you're on the show. We answer questions. We talk about your trips. We talk about the Disney news of the week. We have a great time. It's a great way to wrap the weekend. Scott joins me and we take your calls. So we'll see you Sunday night. All right, we'll be back again on Friday. Pam just got back from Disneyland with a bunch of her good old friends from the Magic for Less. They learned a lot, but if I had to put it on a scale, they learned a lot, but maybe the fun, maybe is a little bit, I was trying to decide, like, if I had them on a scale, like learning and fun, it was about 50-50, but maybe 50, maybe 51-49.
60-40.
I can't decide. We'll leave that question. It's a cliffhanger for Friday's show. We'll ask her at the top of the show where that scale ended. But I mean, sure, the picture sure looked fun. I mean, it's a pretty fun industry to be in. I'll tell you, I've got to be honest with that. So we'll talk about it on Friday. Pixar Fest, the Pixar Place Hotel looks awesome. Just all the cool stuff they got to do. So if you're headed out to Disneyland anytime soon, you've got a great vacation. Boom, right in front of you. Len, where are you? Your ears should be perking up for Friday. Be ready, buddy. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you on Friday. Until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.